there, guys. Welcome back to Zeke Said So. I am your host with the most, Zeke the Geek. So, wanted to do this real quick because I wanted to get one out here and talk and announce that the podcast was coming back. That the Zeke Said So show, after a very long hiatus, was making its big return, and that the 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 way the show is gonna go, it's um it's gonna be a little different than what it used to be. Um, the Zeke Said So show, we would talk about all things movies, TV shows, comic books, all that kind of stuff. Um, and I would have a script, I would have a show notes, and it was great. But I realized that kind of handcuffed us a little bit. That kind of made it feel like a little bit robotic in a way, because it was like, okay, well, we gotta hurry up and get to all of our topics because we're only got this much time. We this and this and this. So I thought the best way to do that is to just not have any boundaries of what we can or cannot talk about. So the Zeke Said So show will basically be a show where we talk about literally anything, um, anything we want to. and, now, obviously, there will be certain topics that will probably not be um, talked about. Um, so if you ask, if you if somebody asks me a question about politics, and you've kind of come to the wrong show, because we're not here to talk about politics. We're just here to talk about some fun stuff, and politics is not fun. To me, at least, it's not fun. But um, but yeah, the podcast is coming back. It's making its big return, and I'm really um, excited about that because that is something I've been wanting to do for a little bit. Um, I've kind of broken up my 10-year history on YouTube into like two different eras so far. There was the first 4 years were the movie review era, and then from 2020 to 2025 it was um, the podcasting era, and now we've kind of stepped into a brand new era right here on Zeke Said So, where we're gonna kind of combine all of those things with my endeavors of filmmaking. Um, I am pursuing film and television, and I'm going to school for it right now, and um, I think part of why I want to kind of bring the podcast back is because I want to use this platform to be more open about things that I'm doing, projects I'm working on, um, scripts I've written. I would love to actually read some of my old stories. I would love to get on this podcast and review my old stories that I've written back in like the sixth grade. Terrible. They're terrible stories. They're awful, awful stories. But I would like to do that just because I think it would be entertaining. Um, but yeah, I mean, genuinely genuinely excited, to get to do that because you know kind of open up a little bit of personal story here, but I when I first went back to school, I was like, I'm just gonna give this a shot. I'm just gonna go to school for film, and I'm going to uh, see about how this works. and I learned so much. There was so much about filmmaking that I didn't know, and I realized that my early early efforts at filmmaking were very amateurish and not professional at all. Like very minusculely professional. Um, I learned that just having a camera, um, just having a really good camera, isn't the only way to make great films or great movies. And I'm uh, I'm genuinely I genuinely think that in the best way for me to understand is by actually going to school and getting some kind of a education on it. Get myself more educated on film and how it works. And I really have learned a lot. You know, I've had, since going back to school, I've gone up for jobs, video editing jobs, um, we've gotten a couple of a couple of interviews with very big companies. I'm not gonna say what company interviewed me, but let's just say it was one of the big ones. It was one of the big ones. Um, but I did the interview, and then they yeah, they said thanks, but no thanks. But one thing they did was that they gave me some pretty helpful advice where it's like you gotta understand how the business side of it works. There's so much that goes into working in the film industry. There's a lot of legal, there's a whole legal side to it. There's just a lot that goes into um, that goes into uh, just being a filmmaker, you know. And but I'm eager to learn. I'm eager to learn all that stuff, and I wanna get more involved in it. It's why I am releasing three short films this year. Three of my short films that I've made in film school are going up on my YouTube channel this year. I just released one of them over the weekend called A Portrait of a Place, which, if you guys haven't checked that out, go to the channel and watch that. Really, really interesting video or film or short film. Uh, and then I have The Court, which is a horror film that I made, um, starring Michael, who you guys know, who you will see back on the show. I'm just doing this kind of introductory episode, um, but you will see Michael back on the show. Don't worry. I didn't tell Michael to go f off. No, you'll see him on the show again. I'm just right now. I'm working through um, how we can uh, how we can do uh, how we can do the podcast without me having streaming connectivity problems, which is kind of what stopped the podcast from happening earlier. But that being said, I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to announce here while I'm doing the first episode, while I'm doing the introductory episode? Trying to think again. Don't blame. Don't hurt me. I didn't have a prepared script. Oh, that's one thing. I do have a top 10 most anticipated films of the list that is shot and edited. It's been edited for a while now, but I've been so busy with school starting back up, and I just went back to work. In fact, I have a shift later today at 1 o'clock. But that video is going to be uploaded. It'll be uploaded this week, and because I'm pretty sure I haven't seen a movie yet that was in my top 10. Most anticipated. Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen one yet, but um, also look out on the YouTube channel. Last night I recorded my out of the theater review for 28 years later, the Bone Temple. That's gonna go up. It's gonna go up. I'm actually probably gonna upload that as I am. As I get ready to head out of here because I got a dentist appointment in a little bit. Um, I'll probably upload that before I leave here today. Uh, and then the Instagram review for it will be on there. And for those of you who do follow me on Letterboxd, which if you're not following me on Letterboxd, just I believe it's Zeke said so. I believe I'm there, or maybe it's Zeke the Geek. Um, isn't it bad that I can't remember my own tag on Letterboxd? Okay. Yeah. So just follow me on Letterboxd. That's my tag. Add me on Letterboxd, and I'm also gonna start making all my lists public. I haven't had I've been so forgetful lately, but um, my favorite and least favorite films of 2025 will be public by the end of today. So go check that out if you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd. Go ahead and do that. It's Zeke the Geek on Letterboxd. Um, but I will also have my review for the Bone Temple on um, on Letterboxd. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see. Anything else do I want to talk about? Do I want to announce? What else do I want to announce? Don't you like my singing voice? No, no, no one does. Okay. um, oh, many people have asked me about this. Many people have asked me about it. The MCU rewatch series is returning. The rewatch slash reviews that is returning. Okay. Last year, the last one we did was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And we will return with the Marvels. I'm going to try and maybe do that before Brand New Day comes out, before Spider Man Brand New Day. Um, because I also want to talk about the TV shows. Also, I do want to talk about the TV shows. At least some of the TV shows. I'm not gonna do all of them because I just don't have the time to do all of them. But I do want to do like Loki season 1 and 2. I want to do Miss Marvel, and I want to do WandaVision. And then if I have time, maybe do Agatha. Maybe do Agatha all along. But yeah, so but we're gonna do the movies, and also what I will announce also here is that I'm going to do the exact same thing for the Star Wars films. The exact same thing I did for my MCU films. We're gonna do it for the Star Wars movies. But they're gonna come with a little bit of a nice little added bonus that Michael has not seen a lot of the Star Wars films. There's a couple he has seen, but he hasn't seen the whole series as a whole. And we're gonna do that all before Mandalorian and Grogu comes out. But we're basically gonna do exactly what we did for the MCU movies. Is we'll watch the movie and then we'll get on camera and do a quick, almost like an out of the theater reaction, but we'll do a quick little thing. Um, and yeah, so that will be fun for us to do. But guys, that will do it for this introductory episode of the um, podcast of the brand new Zeke Said So um, show. Um, what does this mean for other shows like the Web Slingers podcast and all these other shows that I had started and then stopped? Um, Web Slingers podcast, I have talked about wanting to start back up again. It's just a matter of how much time do I have. I'm already stretched a little thin with a lot of stuff that I have going on. So, Web Slingers podcast may still be on hold for a little while longer at least. But yeah, but the Zeke Senso show's coming back, and new episodes will drop once a month, and yeah. So that will do it for this episode of the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys like the podcast, please make sure you share it and subscribe. I think I subscribe to the podcast because Zeke the Geek said so. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.